What's going on, everyone? This is Tim Harstead here, the VP of Property Management at Cal. Today we're going to talk about the 3 mistakes landlords make with their properties that I see the most with clients that are coming to us. As always, in all of our training, sponsored by the great people that work with Joe Schwab over at Guaranteed Rate, great mortgage programs, tons of ways that your buyers can get help and be able to buy a home. So definitely reach out to them and learn more for your buyer clients. Again, I'm just going to go over the 3 mistakes I see when we onboard a client, mistakes that they've made that we try to correct and help them with over time to fix. And just a heads up, I'm going to go a little more in depth with these. It's going to be a short video, but if you go over to calpm.com, in the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing blog posts on all 3 of these actually to learn more and feel free to share with your clients and help them make the right decisions going forward. All right, mistake number 1, not properly classifying property. So when you buy a property, you should have a classification, whether that's A+, A, B, C, or even a D class property, meaning an A+ is your properties that are super high end, $2,000, $3,000 for a studio or a 1-bed, whereas C class and D class are in your less fortunate neighborhoods. Your rents maybe are $600, $700 a month, and what happens is you see landlords, and it works both ways, either buying a property that's in a Class A neighborhood, let's say just for instance Lincoln Park. You have this property that should be renting out for $3,000 a month. However, instead of putting in marble counters or granite counters even, they're putting in the plastic to try to save money. And when people are coming to rent it, the rental price is not worth as much as it should be. Not putting in a dishwasher, not putting in some of the amenities that are common in the area. Now it works the other way too, because sometimes we'll go to a Class C or Class D property and we will see that there are very expensive counters, very expensive appliances, and all of this is going to make it very hard for that landlord to catch up on his cost and be able to rent it out for an amount that he's going to be profitable versus losing money every month as he rents. Mistake 2 that I see a lot is installing high maintenance amenities. When I mean amenities in this case, I'm talking about inside the apartment, some appliances or something like that that they think is an upgrade. However, for their apartment, unless it's an A+ class unit or a very top of the A class, they are spending a lot of money or a little bit of money to install these, but the headaches over the years because of the amount of times that they break down and how hard they are to fix will make it not worth it at all. So here's my list of the top 3 that I see. Number 1 is garbage disposals. These guys break, the number of calls that we get, and we probably only have 10 to 20% of our apartments with garbage disposals, and yet still it's probably one of our top calls that we get for property management work orders. And it's just, it's a hassle and you're spending a couple $100. Tenants don't really understand that you're not, despite it being called a garbage disposal, you're only supposed to put food down it, only certain kinds of food. You can't put bones, you can't put garbage, and they tend to do that and they tend to let it break. So you're going to get a call at least once a year, if not more, depending on the tenant and how well they're trained. But it's just better, not to have it in there and let them, throw out the garbage. Jacuzzi tubs are another one that we see a lot. And, I have seen very few that are still working. And when a tenant sees it, they're not trying it. But when when they're trying to rent the apartment, they're not looking at it and seeing does it work, but they expect it to work. And that sort of expectation when they're walking around and they see a jacuzzi tub, they expect all the jets to work. When one of those jets goes out, it's very hard to fix. Or if the motor, things like that go out, a lot of times you have to actually go under the tub and get to the parts where the fix is, and it can become very expensive. Not to mention, depending on where it's at and how it's set up, it could also cause a lot of splashing, a lot of water on the floor that doesn't get cleaned up, and then starts to get through the floor and go into the neighbors underneath and causing a leak. And the last one is fridges with ice makers. And again, on some higher class properties, maybe even up to a B class property, this might be okay. But if you have a C and D class property, when a tenant sees that there's a fridge with an ice maker, they're going to expect it to work. And when it doesn't, you're going to get work orders and unhappy clients. And you really want to make sure that you're not setting up the expectation of having a working ice maker when it probably wouldn't have mattered. They probably still would have rented out the apartment. But because you are providing the fridge with the ice maker when the ice maker doesn't work, that expectation is already set up. And it's just going to cause a lot of drama and a lot of issues with the tenant and having to get it fixed if it does go bad, worrying about the filters and such like that as well every couple of months, making sure that it's filtered and going good there. And the third common mistake is short-term ROI over long-term ROI. And this comes a couple different ways. One is, buying a cheaper part. There are certain faucets and certain, things that are known to be maybe only $100 when their competitors are $150, but they're also very well known for only lasting a year. So if you're going to save money on a part, make sure you're reading reviews, make sure that you're saving money because it's on sale versus saving money because it's known to be a bad product that's just going to break in a year versus lasting 5. And then the other short-term to long-term ROI thing that you see a lot is not fixing a little problem while it's a little problem. So, there's a small roof leak, we're just going to let it ride. It's okay. It's not really affecting anything. And it may have cost $1,000 to fix when you first found out about it. But because you waited 3 months to get it fixed and now there's interior damage, now the hole's bigger and, et cetera, now it's a $10,000 problem. And that's something that is a huge issue that could have been solved for a lot cheaper. But because you're trying to save money and put it off and kick it down the road, it's going to cost you, 10 times as much. One more, bonus one that I just thought of right now is making sure that you, with the short-term versus long-term ROI, is making sure that you're treating the tenant as a customer and making decisions when they ask for stuff to be repaired and things like that, making sure that you're not too worried about getting the best quote and waiting 5 weeks for quotes to come in when this tenant has issues that they've been sitting there for 5 weeks. Because what's going to happen is, you could have got it fixed in 2 weeks and now it's taking 5. When it's time for their lease to come up, they're more likely to leave. And yeah, you may have saved $200 or $300 finding a cheaper quote. But when they leave because they're mad because it takes you so long to fix things, now you're looking at turning the whole unit, paying for it to be painted, paying for it to be turned, as well as the rent lost because you're trying to find a new tenant. So those are my 3 most common mistakes. Again, visit calpm.com. You can see my blog post on just different things for landlords to look out for investors to look out for. And I'll be writing these up as 3 separate posts over the next couple of weeks. So hope to see you on there. As always, one more thing with Cal Property Management. As an agent, if you refer a client to us, you do get part of the management fees every month. So you can create income that every month you're getting some money into your account without doing any extra work. And then also, if you are an investor and you have properties and you want us to manage them, you would get a discount as well that's equal to what you would be getting as a referral fee. So give me a call. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and we'll talk soon. Have a great rest of your day.